On November 21, 2025, the Ohio government was active across several fronts, with notable actions in public health, legislative updates, infrastructure investment, and regulatory changes. Here is a detailed report of the major government actions, legislative activities, enforcement actions, and public events that took place on or around that date. Major government actions. Governor Mike DeWine authorized the Ohio Board of Pharmacy to adopt an emergency rule, legalizing tools to prevent drug overdoses. This action, taken via Executive Order 2025-4D, suspended the normal rulemaking process to allow the Board of Pharmacy to quickly implement measures aimed at reducing overdose deaths. The emergency rule is intended to expand access to overdose prevention tools, such as naloxone and other harm reduction supplies, in response to the ongoing opioid crisis. Governor DeWine also announced a $500,000 investment through the H2 Ohio program to replace lead service lines at childcare facilities in Columbus. This initiative is part of a broader effort to ensure safe drinking water for children and families, with the funds specifically allocated to address lead contamination risks in early childhood settings. Legislative activities. The Ohio legislature continued to process and finalize several bills during the final days of the 2025 legislative session. The Greater Ohio Policy Center reported that Governor DeWine signed House Bill 96, which included appropriations for the Ohio Department of Transportation, Ohio Department of Public Safety, and other state agencies related to transportation funding for fiscal years 2026 and 2027. The bill became effective on July 1, 2025, with no line-item vetoes from the governor. House Bill 61, which dealt with property tax reforms and changes to absentee ballot deadlines, was also signed into law. The bill eliminated the grace period for mailed absentee ballots that arrive after Election Day, a move that drew criticism from some voting rights advocates. The legislation also included other provisions favored by socially conservative groups, such as restrictions on certain public nuisance actions. Senate Bill 6, which prohibits certain public nuisance actions, was signed by the governor and became effective on September 30, 2025. The bill is part of a broader legislative package aimed at addressing issues related to public safety and community well-being. House Bill 361, which is pending in the House Local Government Committee, received a third committee hearing on November 13, 2025. The bill, sponsored by Brian Lawrence and Tex Fisher, is focused on local government issues and is still under consideration. Enforcement actions. There were no major enforcement actions reported specifically for November 21, 2025. However, the ongoing implementation of the new emergency rule by the Ohio Board of Pharmacy represents a significant enforcement action, as it will require pharmacies and other entities to comply with the new regulations regarding overdose prevention tools. Public events. The H2 Ohio investment announcement was accompanied by a public event in Columbus, where Governor DeWine and local officials highlighted the importance of safe drinking water for children. The event included remarks from state and local leaders, as well as representatives from childcare facilities that will benefit from the lead line replacement program. Other notable developments. The Ohio legislature also considered the currency access to spend here cash bill, which would require businesses and government offices to accept cash for payments up to $500. The bill, if passed, would ensure that consumers have the option to use cash for transactions and would prohibit businesses from charging higher prices for cash payments. The bill was still under consideration as of November 21, 2025. In summary, November 21, 2025 was a busy day for the Ohio government, with significant actions in public health, legislative updates, infrastructure investment, and regulatory changes. The state continued to address pressing issues such as the opioid crisis, safe drinking water, and election integrity, while also considering new legislation to protect consumer rights and ensure access to essential services.